Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I told you many times that truth could be simply hidden. That's how you lie. So omitting facts and evidence, that's a lie by omission. And in this case we've been heard since the first supposed deliveries of the HIMARS missile defense systems from the United States of America. Supposed why? Because I think the Ukrainians had them before 24th of February 2022, and I made my point in many videos before why I think that's the case. Now, if you are very familiar with the HIMARS situation, the Russians did not destroy any of them. Zero. Nothing. Zero. The Russians said, no, we destroyed about, 12, 15, how many they said. The other side, including the United States of America, says zero. I think it's impossibility, but hey, what can I do? I'm not on the territory to count them. But, by omitting certain kind of data, you find out the information through other sources and other instances that tell you that actually it's very probable, nope, not possible, probable, that the HIMARS were also blown up. Why? Because of this article that would make that point. So let's go and see what the article says and makes me believe or conclude that actually HIMARS are blown up as well. So Ukrinform, Ukrainian news outlet, right? This is the title. Lithuania will repair 12 more German PZH2000 howitzers for Ukraine, defense minister says. So Lithuania will repair 12 more. So there were some before that they repaired. That means they blew up, the Russians blew them up. You're going to stay up or you're going to come out? Hold it there. Okay, stay there. All right, so that tells me there were some more, and this is 12 more. Do you think that will be the Lithuanians repairing the German military material, or in this case howitzers? I don't think so. I think it's German engineers doing that over there, or the companies who are in charge of those things, because they know what they're doing over there. I'm not saying the Lithuanians would not have their engineers, but it's just different. So you just ship a few guys and they will repair what is to repair. Now there's 12 more of how many were before. Now, and this is the connection I make between howitzers and this PZH2000, the German manufactured, and the HIMARS. How come these howitzers are blown up as many as, and these are just the ones that are damaged. Who knows how many were blown up by the Russians. So how come the Russians are capable of blowing up 12 more that are injured, destroyed, damaged, you know what I mean? But they probably destroyed more that could not be replaced. I mean, they could not be repaired, and some that were repaired before, because they say 12 more, so that were some before. And why only these howitzers are detected and destroyed, blown up by the Russians, but the howitzers are not howitzers, I'm sorry, HIMARS are not? Why? Because those are invisible, or because they're American made, or what is the magic thing? If people try to argue that, hey, they have all kind of, they shoot and they move, and really, they're the only ones, and that's how you fool the Russians satellites, by moving, shooting and then moving, and then shooting and moving. Wow, that tactic was never thought of by the enemy. So BS. They're not invisible as those airplanes are not invisible, okay? They're not invisible. They can be detected. So this is bull, you know what. So let's see how these guys are going to repair this 12, right? And maybe we find out more. So, Defense Minister of Lithuania, Arvydas Anušauskas, said that 12 more German PZH2000 howitzers will be repaired in Lithuania for Ukraine. And I'm quoting, the repair of PZH2000 howitzers damaged in Ukraine will continue to be organized in Lithuania. This is the word used here. 2 after their repair are on their way to Ukraine, and 2 more are currently being brought to Lithuania, he wrote on Twitter. According to Anusanskas, at least 12 of them are expected to be repaired in Lithuania. Earlier in September, the Defense Ministry of Lithuania announced that the country would repair howitzers damaged on the battlefield in Ukraine. Well, you can do that if you have the experts working on that. So either you have the same kind of howitzers bought from Germany, which obviously have the maintenance crews on that, right? Because I don't want to insult engineers or any experts or any guys with skills like this. No, it's not that, but it's just different. You can repair mechanical things. It's true, but what if it's something that's more than mechanical? You have the parts. You can replace them. I understand that, but certain things that really you can't. You maybe need certain kind of experts with some extra expertise, but that's not the point. I don't care if they're Lithuanians, if the foreign minister or whatever minister himself solves things over there, and I don't care. My point is, if these things get blown up, and these are the ones that need repair, I guarantee you that's much more they were blown up by the Russians, which, you know, and then if this happens with this kind of weapons, why wouldn't it happen to the HIMARS? What's so, I don't know, invisible about them? I don't accept any explanation on that. Why? Because it's a material thing that not only moves, makes noise, a lot of noise, and sends trajectories that could be verified, that could be ballistically. You are gonna pinpoint where that came from and how and you can. It's so easy. Let's put it this way. It's so easy. Now you can say, well, maybe the howitzers were closer to the front and the other ones were back. The HIMARS was back, and therefore the Russians, I don't think so. I mean, Russians have no limitation in hitting a target 50 miles, or how is the, supposedly, that's the area that can be covered by the range covered by HIMARS, supposedly in Ukraine. I don't believe that a bit. But anyway, again, because people lie. Why do you think, oh, you can shoot but only shoot 3 bullets, don't use 5, and don't shoot further than that? Really? Is that how it works in a war? Was this total war, as they say it is, or it's a controlled war? I think the second option is the real one. Not only I think that is a controlled war, which means, well, I'm not going to do this, but you don't do this. And it's not between the Ukrainians and the Russians, it's between the Russians and the Americans. And yes, they communicate behind our little ears, eyes, and everything else, because that's what's happening. When they say, oh, Austin spoke with Shoigu the first time in 4 months or 7 months or whatever months, yeah, maybe they spoke, but I'm pretty much sure that they have contacts through lower ranking intelligence officers and military personnel. 100%. They will not let it get out of control. That's the first thing. And the behavior of the Russian army and the Ukrainian army, who's not in control, I would say, but it's organized and planned and all that by others, tells me that this thing is just communicated. I mean, why would Americans not give the Ukrainians HIMARS that could hit, I don't know, 150 miles? Oh, because they're gonna hit the Russian per se? So what? Russia hits my country, why shouldn't I hit your country? So okay, that's illogical. Then you say, well, so if I hit their targets, what are they gonna do? They don't do it already. Oh, they're gonna shoot us and kill all of us in Kiev and mow our... Also, that means they're not 100% in it, right? So you see, it's all... They tell us they are all spoken. If you guys hit our territory, we're gonna carpet bomb your freaking towns. Probably that's the threat. Like it was, for instance, with the infrastructure, with the civilian infrastructure and so on. After the Kerch Bridge, the Crimea Bridge. They said, if you hit that, we're gonna up. And what happened? Oh my God, look what they do. So they could, but they didn't. Why? If they are those terrorists that we are learning here in the United States of America, the freest country and blah, 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 and the freest mass media, blah, 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 then why didn't they do it before? Because they were dumb? I mean, we're told that those guys are criminals and everything, terrorists. Hitler is over there. He just somehow got himself together and is telling Putin what to do. I mean, really. And all of a sudden we find out they can, but they didn't do it. Why? Because it's controlled. It's controlled. And they said, you do this, I do this. So the same, the Americans said, guys, don't hit in Russia, because if you hit in Russia, you launch missiles in Russia with our HIMARS, they will probably do something else. I wonder what. And if they would do something else, that means they can escalate. So what? The terrorists are not, they are still calculated terrorists, are not like indiscriminately destroying everything. Something is not kosher here, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so yes, I think HIMARS are blown up, I think 100%, and we're not allowed to know because the arms manufacturing companies need to create this aura of invincibility and extraordinary HIMARS, which they might be, but they're not invincible. That's why Poland ordered 500 HIMARS. And you tell me that with 18 HIMARS, the Ukrainians stopped and turned the outcome of the war against Russia with 18 delivered? But all of a sudden Poland, all of a sudden, a few months ago, ordered 500. Why would you order 500 when these guys can do the job against Russia with 18? Doesn't fucking make sense to me. Or it makes sense, but not the way they want me to put things together. No, they had, either Ukraine had before, I'm saying about 80 or 100 HIMARS if they're so efficient. Otherwise, those guys would not order 500, would order 25. If 18 were good enough to blow up the Russian attack, the mighty Russian war machine. All right, we're not dumb here. They're dumb and they're assholes. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.